Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this stable door card. Open it up and it's just like half a card front there, rather like a stable door, just opens one panel. I made another one this morning and I did a bit of fine tuning on it, which is this one. And what I've done is, rather than having the second lot of trees at the back like that so that they are seen through these, I've done the second lot of trees so they're actually hidden behind these. Okay, and that I think I probably prefer. I'm not saying I don't like this one, but I think I just might prefer that. On this one I was exceptionally pleased with how the inside finished up, because I thought that would make a nice card front on its own if you put a Christmas greeting in there. But I hadn't planned to do that. That happened by accident. And I also made another one this morning, which was a masculine one, and I used the is it Sailing Home, the stamp set. And again I did this one with the yachts behind that and the lighthouse behind that one. Okay, again you could use that as a card front if you wanted, with a greeting there. So I'm going to show you how I did it so that I concealed the layers behind. I'll start off with the card pieces that you'll be needing. Right, which way should we start? I should have got this sorted out. Right, okay, so you're going to need a card base. Now I will put the metric measurements and these measurements and the US measurements in the box below, but I'm only going to give you inches now. So this is 11.5 inches by 11.5 inches by 4 1/8 inches, scored and folded at 5 3/4 inches. Then a piece of Whisper White, which measures 5.5 inches by 3 7/8 inches. And with the DSP I'm doing something a little bit different, in as much as I'm having a pattern that's got several colours on it. All those others have got just the single. And this is from Most Wonderful Time. If when I get to it, before I've actually stuck it down, I don't like it, then I can use the one that's on the other side. Okay, so this piece measures 5 3/8 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Then you need 2 pieces of Whisper White, which measure 1 3/4 inches by 5.5 inches. Another piece of Designer Series paper, which measures 1 5/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. You need a scrap of soft suede for 2 of the reindeer. Okay, one inside, one outside. That's what that was for as well. And then you need some Whisper White for the trees. Another thing that I have done different from this one is I've cut the trees trunks off on that one, and although I'm using this tree in Pear Pizzazz, I'm not doing it with the tree trunk on it. So there's little variations on the 3 cards. I'd like to think that it helps you to decide which bits you like and which bits you're not so keen on. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to cut out stable door. If I just move these out of the way, I'll get my trimmer. Decide which is the front of your card, and that's going to be this. Okay, so I'm going to put my cardstock like that. So this is the back, this is the front. The reason I'm doing it like this is because I want to cut 2 inches up here. 2 inches is easier to remember than 2 1/8, so it's 2 inches down there and I am going to cut from the, let's get that out of the way. I'm going to cut from the fold, which is 5 3/4 inches. Make sure I'm in there nice and straight and firm, and then I'm going to cut down to the end. Okay, so that is what's going to be staying because it's 2 inches. That's the one I want. Now I am going to cut this piece off, and I'm going to position my blade so it cuts off the score line there. There's a dent there, and I'm going to cut that right off. Okay, I'll just show you what I'm talking about. You see the fold there? I want that to go. I don't want any of it left behind. So I'm going to pop that in there. I'm lining up the left hand side of that bumpy bit that I don't want, and I'm lining up in the cutting groove. So I'm going to use my blade, and then I'm going to come down to where my 2-inch line comes over from there. Right, I haven't allowed them to meet up with each other, but that's no real problem. What I'm going to do, I'm holding it so that it doesn't just tear off. There we go. So that's our card. We don't need that. But I am going to just use my bone folder just to flatten down my edge. And that one. Okay, so no evidence of the fold there. Almost. So first of all, oh yes, I said I was going to decide whether I wanted that one when I knew what I was doing, but I can't. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm sure it's going to look lovely with a bit of colour to it. I like the one colour as I've done there, but I know not everybody does. So I'm taking the Whisper White piece, that's going to be my first layer. I'm also going to be showing you the new cut and emboss machine that Stampin' Up have brought out. It will be available for customers to buy as from 1st of September. And so far, I have to say, I'm really very pleased with it. Right, there we go. Just hold that up. Yep, that looks good. So, this is a really very easy, very quick card to make. If you decided you wanted to make some kind of a fancy fold for your Christmas cards this year, this is an easy one. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to take this, this and this. Now on the inside what I've done is I've put a complete sheet there, and now I'm going to cover up this bottom half. If you want, you could just cut that to that size, line it up with that, save yourself this strip here. In fact, no, I better not say that. I was going to say what you cut off there might be, yes, it probably would be enough to fit on the front. But I'm doing it like this because I will just get I'm guaranteed of a nice finish where this Whisper White finishes and the Designer Series paper starts. And I'm going to line up my corners here with my white corners down here. You can use tape runner if you've got one of those that you'd like to use. Okay, so now I'm going to do these two. Did I say that this Designer Series paper is from the Most Wonderful set, which was one of the products we had in our catalogue last Christmas and has been brought forward. I don't think I have ever known Stampin' Up to bring Designer Series paper forward, but they brought this one forward, and they've also brought the Christmas Gleaming paper forward as well. That was so popular last year that it actually sold out. I remember somebody who was really desperate to finish the job that she was doing. She was hunting round demos if they had any spare. So I gave her mine, which meant I didn't have any to bring forward. But I do have some of the, I can't remember what it's called now, the red and green patterned with, let me see, what is it called? Oh, never did get to grips with saying this word properly, but 12 tidings. Right, now we've done that. This is for the trees. Now I have done all my trees ahead of time, but I want to show you how I've been using my Stamparatus, because I've done 10 trees for each. Now what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to do the sentiment, and I'm planning on doing it on this. And also I want to show you these as well. I got myself in a bit of a mess because I can be a bit lazy when I'm doing my stamping, and when you use your Stamparatus it is much better if you use the little uninked squares and ink them yourself, which is what these are. What I also do is I put a little square of Velcro at the bottom there, and this is one of our daubers. I take the sponge off, put that on there, and then I ink up my stamp. What I was doing yesterday was I was using an actual ink pad, the full size one, and what happened was, because it's obviously far too big for this, I'd got ink all along here as well, and I didn't clean it properly last night. I cleaned the plates and all the stamps, but I didn't clean the actual Stamparatus. And when I started again this morning, I was getting green all over me, and I hadn't actually started using any ink at that stage. And that's what made me realise it was coming off of the actual Stamparatus. Okay, now because I've already done my trees, I mean you could get another 2 in there. What I'm planning is you get 4 each there and 2 there. But if I leave that in there, I can't show you exactly what I wanted to show you. Before I go too far, storage on those little pads. I've made these for myself. These are, I think they've retired now, but these were the double stamp boxes that Stampin' Up sold, and I designed the inside of my box here with little supports in between here so that I could file my colours away, and I've got space here for my spare little daubers. If you haven't seen our daubers, it's, oh no, that's not that one. They come in a packet of 5, and it's like this. This is what we do when we want to do masking or sponging of some sort. And I've just pulled that little spongy bit off, and I stuck the Velcro on there. There is a video where I've shown how to make these, and when I store them, I actually store them upside down, because that's how you should store your ink pads. And that's my second one. I am needing a third one now, so I would have to go back and check that video. Right, let me get the tree, not that one, this one. Okay, so what I've been doing is, we have a technique with our Stamparatus which is called stepping, and basically it's any stamp that is up to 1 inch wide. What you can do is you can put your stamp on, ink it, stamp it, move it along 1 notch, ink it, stamp it, and go all the way down. So you've got the same pattern. Maybe you've got like thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and you could change your colour with it, or you could have different sentiments, whatever. And I have adjusted that to fit in with doing the 4 trees here. So the first one, now this is wider than the 1 inch, so obviously I'm not going to be able to do it by moving along 1 notch. So what I did was, I did one, and then I moved this down so it was a little bit further down in there. You can tell by where I've got my grid paper in there how far down that is. So I hold that there, and then this one I move along 2 notches, and then I check how far it is. Now I need to leave a bit of a gap there because these are going to be punched out. Okay, so then I will do my second one. And then for my third one, I go down 2 again, but I need to move this down a bit more. Double check. Yes, that looks good. I will put in the list of products that I've used the daubers and the uninked spots. Right, now for the 4th one, because we're so close to the edge, I move that back again, and then I move this up 1 notch. Okay, so I've got my 4 on there. Now this is wobbly because it's right towards the end, so what I do is I make sure that I keep this straight down here. I don't rely on that side. In fact, I try not to touch that side at all. Okay, so that's 4 trees, and then you can do the other 4, and then you can bring your other piece of paper in and do the first 2. Okay, so I'm happy about that. I've shown you that. I've shown you about the little ink pads. Let's put that away. And then just take that off, just give it a twist, and it comes apart. Okay, so that's that. Don't need that anymore, do I? I'm going to need the Merry Christmas for my new Big Shot. Don't need that. And I'm going to do another reindeer because I've already done one, and the trees need to be punched out, so let me do one of those as well. So the punch is called the Pine Tree Punch, which is this. The stamps that I've been using, by the way, I should have told you that, is brought forward from last year, and this is called Perfectly Plaid. I'm using this tree here, the one that I've used on here for this tree, it's two-step stamping. I did that one and that one. What I did was I stamped that in garden green, and then that I inked up in garden green and then stamped off once, and then I could see through the colour, just line it all up on there, and it lined up beautifully, it really did. So that was that one. Punch, let's do one of these. Now I was surprised that these actually fitted in. They didn't look as if they were going to me, because the edges of the tree, the stamped tree, is uneven. I didn't think it was going to fit in with these fancy edges down here, but it works beautifully. Okay, so you need to punch all of those out, which I have here, and then what I did with these, I just cut the trunk off, which I did like this. Just give that a little bit of a curve, make it look as if it was meant to be like that. If you wanted to put a tree trunk on, there's a little stamp for that. Okay, and that is what I used on this one here. You may decide that it looks more realistic with a tree trunk there. Not using it was just a part of an experiment for me. So that's okay. I need to do this and this. Right, let me bring my Big Shot up. Not my Big Shot, my new cut and emboss machine. Right. Now, when you buy this machine, you get these plates, and these are the easiest plates I've seen with any machine. I mean, I am really a Big Shot person. It was the first cutting machine I've ever had, and I absolutely love it. But this, I've got the light on there, let's move it over a bit. Okay, so they're all numbered, and on here it tells you what plates you need. For example, on this plate, if you're using thin dies, you want number 1, which is this, you want number 2, which is this one, and you need 2 of number 3. Okay, and then for embossing, with a standard embossing machine, you use number 1 and numbers 2 number 3s. If you're using a 3D embossing folder, you use number 1 and number 4, which is that one. Okay, so if you ever forget, it's right there and it's plain and simple. With the dies, you need, using thin dies 1, 2 and 3, which is what I'm about to do. So it's 1, 2 and 3. Stampin' Up do have a magnetic cutting board, cutting plate coming out. But if you've already got one, you can actually use it in this machine. What I do is, that's my magnetic plate, and I just use 2 number 3s because that is the same thickness as that, those two. Okay, so that 1 and 2 equals that. Since I had my, let's see, where am I going to put, oh, they can go down there. Since I had my magnetic platform, I really don't want to work with anything else. Right, let me just, oops, that's a bit loud. Right, this is what the machine looks like when it's closed. You can't see very much like that, but if I turn it down like that, it sits on a table closed when I'm not using it, and it gives me so much extra space. It is lovely. On the bottom it does have little feet that will stop it from slipping. And to use it, when it arrives, you just need to put that in your handle on, which is exactly the same as the Big Shot. But you just bring these down and that's it, it's ready to go. So if I can put that like that, I will bring my magnetic platform in. I will bring number 3 in, and I will get my bits that I need. Oh, here we go, that one. In fact, I'm going to cut that a bit smaller so I can put both of these through at the same time. Okay, and for this I am using the Stitch So Sweetly dies. Okay, I'm using number 2 of that. Smaller the die, smaller the number, so you start counting from the inside. 1, 2. I will just double check that that is straight because I haven't got one already made up. And having done this 3 times so far, I know how that's meant to line up. So there's that. And for the reindeer, I'm taking it from this stamp set, that set of dies, it's that one there, and it's from the North Pole Wonder. It goes with a stamp set called Wishes and Wonder, which does have another reindeer that you can stamp and die cut. There we go, that's what they die cut like. That is really very pretty, that one, I like that. And that's the sleigh, Father Christmas sleigh. That's another pretty one. Can't think what that was. I think that's like holly, maybe. Don't remember. Anyway, it's a good set. So this, I have already checked this to make sure it fits on. And which way did I do it? Yeah, there we go. And I have found that this machine does die cut a lot better than the Big Shot. With the reindeer, for example, there is no cranking it through and then cranking it back again. It will cut it first time. Okay. There we go. Look at the detail on that. It's got the eye, the nose, and the breast bits. Really beautiful, that. Might get another one out of that. And of course my sentiment as well. So when I am using this in a video, I'm not going to keep opening and closing because I do tend to move my fingers out of the way quite quickly and it tends to snap shut. So let's see, how do we do this now? Bring the trees over, the other reindeer. And I will just bring this over so I can follow how I did it. Right, so I want 3 first of all, without the stems, the trunks rather. And I did it so I started off with the end of the tree, came onto that white bit there, and then I did these so they just touched each other. Okay, that was nice and easy. So it might be easier if I put a bit of paper in there, because this seems to be blending one into the other. Okay, so that shows you where the stable door actually is. So to put these in, you just need a little bit of Tombow or glue runner, if that's what you're using, just along the bottom there. That bit to the end of that white one. And the curve very near the top. Okay, so just show you that so you can see how much I have going onto the green. Oh, that's better, you can see a shadow there. Maybe not. Oh no, can you see it like that? That's better, yes. So that's that one. Now I'm going to do 2 more. Just follow on. Same amount of glue. Just let the tips touch. And then for these, I adhered them like that. I didn't come down too far because I'm going to have my sentiment in there. I don't mind it going over the trees, but I didn't want to bury most of it. So what I did on this one, I took the glue about 2/5 of the way up, not quite halfway. That's there. Obviously you can put the trees any position you want them to be in. And this idea of a card goes really well if you do it with flowers as well. Okay, so that's that. Now what I did to do these 3 in identical positions here, I took one, I put glue more or less all the way on it, and then with the help of my tweezers I lined it up with that one there, and then I closed, and because I glued it, it stuck down. Okay, so that's what I did with these 3. Line that up on that one. Obviously if you wanted to do the 5 on the inside, you could do. The reason I've got that piece there, the white piece, was so that you've got somewhere to write a greeting. But if you wanted to use that to make it into a full design, without putting the white on there even, you could put a white piece along here. Oops. Don't try swinging it around, it doesn't work. There we go. See, that's just touching as well, slightly over, but almost touching. I'll do that on that one. There we go. And bring this over. There we go. Nice and easy. Now with this one, I did him so that his antlers are on the tree there. Oops, I wonder if I can move that a bit. That's not quite in the right position. Good old Tombow. Come on Tombow, let me just put it a bit at the top. Oh yes. Oh, that's better. A bit too far now. Be careful what you ask for. But no, that's fine. Anyway, so I want to put this here so that the antlers are on there. I put a little bit of glue all over. A bit on his legs. And his head. And if you do any of the antlers, just make sure you do the top bits. Bits in the middle are a bonus. Okay. I'm going to put him there. Now I should be able to see him just through there. Can you see the brown? Yes, you can. Okay, so I'm going to try and do the same with the reindeer as I did with the trees. Looks like I've put a little bit too much glue on this. I haven't brought any scrap paper over with me, but I do have a bit of tissue, so just dab it off. I don't want it going all over the place inside my card. Oops, that's gone on the floor. So this I'm going to lay down where I can see his antlers. Again, this one you may not be so fussy about. There we go. So is that the same? Yeah, I didn't do any more in there, but if you wanted to, you could put another one or another two and then have your sentiment over that side. Choices are yours. If you also wanted to do so that they matched up with these here, you would just do exactly the same as what I've done there. Put the glue on, line it up, and then when you're happy, close it down, pick it up. Okay? So the last thing I need to do is the sentiment. And on that one I popped up with dimensionals. Which I need the small ones. Also, just as a reminder, don't forget, any customers of mine who shop with me online during August until 31st will be given in their Happy Mail a packet of 48 6x6 sheets of retired designer series paper. The only conditions on that is that your order was £30 after you'd applied any bonus coupons that you'd earned last month and before the delivery charge was added on. Okay, I'm just going to hold this up to see where this goes. Just needs to go up a tad. Yes, that's okay. So that's today's card. As I say, it is a nice quick one. And this one shows you what it's like if you use a multicoloured paper, and I think that has worked out well. I'm glad I did that. This was the first one I did without the tree trunk. That one's not got a tree trunk. Let's do that up before I keep going. And this one, I didn't line the trees up. This was my first one, which is what I call my prototype. And I did a masculine one as well. If you want to do a female one, rather than Christmas card, it's very, very easy to do that with flowers. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. It's given me a jolly good start to my Christmas cards. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you give it a try. If you have any questions to make or any comments, please leave them in the box below the video. I'm always very happy to help you, and I do enjoy reading your feedback. In the box below I will be putting all the measurements, score lines, cut lines in inches for people who are using A4, inches for the US, and also metric for A4 people. Also I will list out all the products that I've used, including the little daubers, the uninked ink spots. If you want to go ahead and make your own little ink spots, do the colours. All I did was I just poured a little bit of the ink refill. So if you make sure you buy an ink refill every time you buy the ink pad, they are just so brilliant. You can use them for so many different things. My favourite one is to use it for the baby wipe technique. Anyway, don't let me start talking. Let me just show you these 4. I did bring 4 over of the packs of designer series paper. They will all contain something special inside, like 2 of these have got a sheet of glimmer paper, and these 2 have got a sheet each of vellum with gold stripes, gold hearts, and I can see that one's got more vellum underneath it as well, so is that one. So it's a really good assortment of retired papers. It's my extra way of saying thank you for shopping with me. If you do shop with me, please make sure you use the August HOSTESS code, so that when I send you your Happy Mail, I can send you free product as well. That applies as long as your order doesn't go over £150. If it does go over 150, you earn your own stamping rewards, which is for you to spend on whichever extra products you would like. If you've enjoyed my video today and would like to be notified of each time I upload a video, please click on the subscribe now button and then click on the bell by the side of it so that you do get the notifications. Many thanks for joining me today. Please take care, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Happy crafting. Cheerio.